You folks need to start paying attention to what I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. I realize that BlackRock made a huge announcement yesterday, but I'm going to provide you guys a ton of fresh, significant, and vital details regarding this specific collaboration that have never been included in any other video that has discussed this topic. What's new then? Tokenized fund holders can redeem their shares for RLUSDET using Securitize, which will soon be available for RLUSD XRPL. BlackRock Orbital is currently at VanEck's US 5 bill. Enterprise-grade instant on-chain liquidity is essentially what will be happening on the XRPL. The majority of people had not previously considered this entirely new use case. Everyone involved in this arrangement, including XRP holders, will benefit greatly from the enormous on-chain liquidity and the vast tokenization of the stock market to varied degrees. I am aware that some of you may not be quite familiar with blockchain technology, but if trillions of dollars worth of transactions are taking place on the XRP, whether or not those transactions are in XRP, it will greatly benefit XRP since it has a lot more use cases and adoption for XRP. For your information, on the Ethereum chain, every day, billions of dollars are exchanged on the USDT stable currency. Due to the network adoption effect, this encourages a lot more individuals to buy Ethereum in order to cover the gas fees and simply keep Ethereum. The biggest organizations in the world, including VanEck and BlackRock, are what we are witnessing. They are now utilizing Ripple's extensive array of services on the XRPL to fulfill their purpose. To say that the volume is trillions of dollars would be an understatement. I'm going to sort of show you how big of an issue this is by breaking out the real numbers here. Additionally, many people have yet to accomplish this. Thus, as of right now, Ripple has announced its relationship with Securitize, BlackRock, and VanEck, including Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin as a way for both funds to be redeemed. Shareholders can now exchange their shares for RLUSD whenever they choose, and full XRP ledger functionality will be available soon. This uses the XRPL's speed and cheap fees to position it as a settlement layer for these assets. XRP serves as a bridge asset for liquidity and cross-chain transfers, whilst RLUSD manages main redemptions, strengthening the function of XRPL in RWA tokenization. There is much more to BlackRock and VanEck's use of XRP for RWA tokenization than this straightforward collaboration. In essence, this is the beta test for the off-ramping of tokenization for all real-world assets. In the future, this will be the biggest industry. BlackRock has stated repeatedly that they want RWA tokenization to become the new standard. They desire the ability to exchange everything. Give these answers immediate liquidity, whether it be in the form of real estate or anything else. And this is what will be possible. Fractionalized real estate transactions are what we're going to start seeing, which means you could buy 1% of a skyscraper and make money from it by getting paid instantly each time the rent is due. This is how asset tokenization is expected to develop in the future. You can receive direct payment and acquire a portion of large companies. Profits and revenues from the aforementioned firm, where all transactions will be conducted via the XRP ledger and on-chain. This represents BlackRock's vision for the future, and if they succeed in achieving this objective, it will be the first step toward that future. Hundreds and hundreds of trillions of dollars will be involved. You are not sufficiently positive on the XRPL tokenized. The reason I wanted to talk about this is that adoption of this will be happening at a much greater rate over the next 5 years. In actuality, Grok is currently stating that a bullish high institutional flow scenario will drive XRP's price between $10 and $15 based only on this straightforward relationship. The price of XRP might reach between $50 and $120 per coin by 2030. This does not include exchange-traded funds ETFs, other cross-border payment methods, or anything similar, which XRP is also designed to perform. This is only discussing the RWA side of things. I would like you all to pause and consider that for a moment. People are currently dozing off on XRP because this is arguably the biggest update to the XRPL. Indeed, it has moved up somewhat over the day and is currently trading at 296 nevertheless. It is insignificant in comparison to the potential for the future. Yes, I intend to hold on to XRP for a considerable amount of time and prepare for it to fluctuate significantly more than it does at the moment. Another thing that I believe is essential for you all to comprehend is that the Fed will most likely keep lowering interest rates. Therefore, there will be two simultaneous events, and the institutional demand for XRP will skyrocket. Explode in a way that has never been witnessed before. We are discussing trillions and trillions of dollars. Flow has never been observed in the Fed will lower interest rates, increasing market liquidity. And the money will flood in. Alright, this is what occurs, and the statistics prove it. When the Fed lowers interest rates, stock prices rise 3 months later and typically close higher a year later. Even though it's the simplest wager you'll ever make, I'm sure some of you will still mess it up after looking at this. You will be ruined if you listen to someone who is pessimistic and gives you inaccurate information since they are not well educated. My purpose is to remind everyone of the facts. The job market is not doing well. Rates must be lowered by the Fed. They are failing to fulfill their primary mandate, which is to control unemployment. If they do not lower rates, our unemployment rate is currently at pandemic levels, which is essentially the same as it was in February 2020. They lowered rates this month for this reason. They will therefore probably lower prices once more next month, and possibly even the month after that. Before the year ends, 2 additional rate cuts are anticipated. All you need to know is that. Last November, we seen the impact of even a 25 basis point drop. Return. Take a look at the pricing of XRP in November of last year. Before then, I was covering XRP every day for years, and I was saying the same thing that I'm saying today. Price action follows rate reduction. It's a simple fact that they simply do it. That's just the way things work, and it doesn't happen immediately. It takes roughly 3 months for it to appear in the markets, as most people would have you think. Naturally, as I mentioned a year later in general, we consistently close higher based on prior examples. Thus, yes, we had a pleasant run up here today, 296. This is XRP. We kind much bottomed out over here. Back here, you know, we were trading down at 267 or whatever. I believe we have reached the bottom of what? 267.98, correct. There, we make purchases. We've risen higher and higher. At 296 right now, we're trading at nearly $3. That's fantastic. Following a good steady fall, we recently had a pretty fantastic entry, and we're profiting from this nice pump up. One of the purchases is visible there. Profits are being made here. There are 2 ways to ensure that you have access to all of these trades, and the first is by gaining access to the Crusader signal, which provides you with the bottoms and the tops. Alright, it is really accurate and provides you with buy and sell signals as soon as they occur. Alright, that's number 1. You can sign up for this indication right now. It's quite simple. We just completed a 5-month simulation. If you spent the previous 5 months using this indicator, in the days when XRP was going sideways, you would have 4 times your money. Correct. This does not include the incredible months when the price of XRP is skyrocketing. In 5 months, we will just be discussing the XRP trading side. You can use this indicator to X your money. It has been demonstrated by our simulations, second during times when XRP rises and erupts. I've used the approach this indicator shows you guys to make my money in less than a month. And I thus want you all to prepare for it, as it will happen very soon. The entrances and exits that this indication gives you guys are obvious as day buy sell boom. And you won't be able to locate